It's no secret anymore that any player that makes it to the NBA is practically guaranteed overnight riches. However, not every player starts at the same place. Some crawl through hell just to touch a basketball.
My mom kicked me out of my house, to tell the truth, and I bounced in and out of guys' houses in high school.
While others are born with a silver spoon and an NBA-ready jump shot. From homeless teens to sons of former NBA players who never struggled a day in their lives, these are the real stories behind basketball's biggest stars. Starting with Jimmy Butler. On the court, Jimmy Butler's game has always been associated with toughness. But that toughness didn't just come from nowhere. It came from the struggles in his childhood when he was homeless, moving from house to house. It all started from when his father, Jimmy Butler Jr., left the family when he was still an infant. To make things worse, at the age of 13, his own mother kicked him out of the house. According to Jimmy in a 2011 interview with ESPN, she told him, "I don't like the look of you. You gotta go." And that was that. He spent the next 4 years bouncing between friends' couches in Tomball, Houston, relying on basketball as his only escape. As time went on, his high school gym became his real home and his team his only family. He did eventually get adopted by the mother of one of his friends, Jordan Leslie, when he was 17. But even then, life was quite tough. His new family consisted of 6 other siblings, all living in a modest home where money was tight. With things getting worse when Jimmy didn't get any scholarship offers from the top basketball colleges in the country. Even after scoring 19.9 points and 8.7 rebounds per game in his senior year. Jimmy, however, just took it as another challenge and moved on. He enrolled in nearby Tyler Junior College, becoming their top scorer in his freshman year, regularly putting up 30 to 40 point games, which according to him was proof that he could make it. After that, I had a few 30, 40 point games. It gave me the confidence that I can play at a high level, and accepted an athletic scholarship to attend Marquette in Milwaukee, where his fast track to the NBA was all but confirmed. To this day, Jimmy says he likes taking life one day at a time, with the belief that he can overcome anything. And judging from the struggles he faced and overcame in his path to the NBA, he has certainly walked the talk. But while Butler had to live without a proper home for several years, Joe Embiid had a pretty stable life before debuting in the NBA. In fact, his origin story often gets whitewashed into another African basketball miracle, when the truth is that his father Thomas was a military colonel in the Cameroonian army, and his mother Christine drove a Mercedes through the streets of Yaoundé. While I wouldn't necessarily call them rich, they weren't poor either. According to Joel's interview with Sports Illustrated in 2016, he was raised in an upper middle class home, and even though he was told to wash his clothes only by hand, their family employed a maid as well. However, despite all his advantages, Joel had no interest in basketball until the age of 15. He was more interested in developing his volleyball and soccer skills.
In Cameroon, most of the people play soccer. I never really got into, I was just playing volleyball.
In fact, he was even a candidate for the Cameroon national volleyball team, but all that changed when he decided to attend former NBA player Luc Mbah a Mout's campaign on a whim. The former basketball pro recognized his talent immediately and entered him into NBA's Basketball Without Borders camp in 2011. He even moved with him to the USA so Joel could play at his former school, the Montverde Academy in Florida. From there, he was selected to play for the University of Kansas, and after a year, he was picked up by the Philadelphia 76ers in the 3rd pick in the draft.
With the 3rd pick, Joel Embiid.
Compared to Butler, Embiid's journey to the NBA was much smoother and frankly easier. However, the same can't be said for someone like Derrick Rose, who had to scratch and claw his way to the league. Because getting to the NBA wasn't just his dream, it was a means to survive. Derrick Rose was born and raised in Englewood, Chicago, one of the most dangerous cities in America.
Englewood has fewer than 25,000 people. The murder rate is higher than Chicago's average, but more murders in a year than some whole countries.
3 people shot right in front of a firehouse in Chicago's Englewood neighborhood tonight near 59th and Ashland.
4 people were found shot in an alley. One of them is dead this morning. The shooting happened last night just after 9 p.m. near 61st and South Justine in the West Englewood neighborhood.
In 1997 alone, when Rose was just 9 years old, the 3.1 square mile neighborhood experienced 1,628 robberies, 3,250 aggravated assaults, and 3,778 thefts in total. Drug deals, gang violence, and shootouts, Rose saw it all. But despite that, he was determined to help his family and even his neighbors get out of the hood. Fortunately, he and his family discovered his basketball talents very early on, and from that point on, his three older brothers, Dwayne, Reggie, and Alan, did their best to shield him from the gangs in the neighborhood. From the age of 11 to 14, Rose and a couple of his friends would spend every day playing at Murray Park from sunup past sundown, even though the court didn't have any lights. In an interview with the Chicago Sun in 2011, Rose even admitted playing through gunshots. In his own words, "When there's a shooting, people usually run. But in our neighborhood, it was kind of regular, so you'd keep on hooping. I know that sounds crazy, but all that effort and determination eventually paid off when Rose enrolled in the Simeon Career Academy at 14. He had already developed a reputation by then, but when he hit the game-winning buzzer beater to give the Simeon Wolverines their first state title since 1984, all in his junior year, his future as an NBA player was all but guaranteed. From there, he only spent a year playing for the Memphis University Tigers before he was picked up by the Chicago Bulls as the #1 draft pick in 2008 at the age of 19.
With the first pick in the 2008 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
But while Derrick Rose lived a true rags-to-riches story on his journey to the NBA, Ja Morant only pretends to be from the hood, when in reality, Ja grew up in a quiet, small country town in South Carolina named Dalzell. And even though Dalzell is a few miles outside of Sumter, a relatively dangerous neighborhood in South Carolina, there's no evidence to suggest Ja was ever exposed to any gang activity or major hardship. His home in Dalzell had a basketball court in the backyard and two supportive parents who believed in him from the start. In fact, both his mother and father played basketball in high school. His mother Jamie was a point guard, and his father T played with Ray Allen at Claflin University. During his childhood, Ja trained regularly with his father in their backyard court.
Hey, that's what the video games do.
Where he taught him how to do step-back jump shots, tire drills, and cone work. Ja went to Crestwood High School, where the student grade point average is on par with the entire state. From there, he would get discovered by Murray State coach Matt McMahon, who offered him a scholarship to play for the Murray State Racers. In his sophomore year, Ja scored 24.5 points, 10 assists, and 6.1 rebounds per game with a field goal percentage of 48.5, and ended up getting picked by the Memphis Grizzlies as second pick overall in the 2019 draft.
With the second pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ja Morant.
No matter how you look at it, Ja's childhood and teenage years showed no signs of him being in any gangs or growing up in a gang environment. However, despite that, it seems like Ja is convinced on trying to show off how gangster he is. When you count the multiple suspensions he's received for flashing guns in Instagram Lives in 2023, and with the lengthy court case where he was sued after punching a teen in a basketball game at a Tennessee home, you honestly feel bad about how he's destroying his career. Fast forward to 2025, and he's still up to these same antics, even after getting fined $75,000 for continued finger gun gestures during games in April of this year. But while Ja's fake gangster persona is only dragging him down, LeBron James's legacy is becoming even greater despite his humble beginnings. LeBron's childhood wasn't just tough, it was a battle for survival almost every day. Born to Gloria Marie James, a 16-year-old single mother in Akron, Ohio, he was constantly moving from apartment to apartment, sometimes living with friends, relatives, and even complete strangers in foster care. In an interview with ESPN, LeBron said, "When I was 5, some financial things happened. I moved 7 times in a year." His father was a convicted criminal who was not involved in his life, while his mother always had a hard time securing and maintaining a stable job, forcing both of them to live in some of the seedier neighborhoods in Akron. As for school, school? Well, according to LeBron himself, in 4th grade, I missed 82 days of school out of 160. Later on, his mother realized that LeBron needed a stable household to progress in life and made the difficult decision to allow him to live with Frank Walker and his family.
In the 4th grade, I missed 80 days of school. And that following year I met a family in the Walker family, and they had a support system. I met some little league coaches playing basketball and football, and the following year I didn't miss one day of school. So I feel like this is the point where we can kind of get into the minds of the kids to let them know that we're here for them.
Walker was a youth American football coach who introduced LeBron to both Little League football and organized basketball in the 5th grade. And that's when everything changed. He then went on to play AAU basketball for the Northeast Ohio Shooting Stars, bringing them both local and national success before he left for high school. At St. Vincent St. Mary High School, a private Catholic school where he instantly made the varsity basketball team in his freshman year. During his time there, LeBron was instrumental in helping his team, the Fighting Irish, go 27-0 en route to the Division III state title. In his junior year, LeBron was already gathering the attention of some major scouts, with Slam magazine even writing a feature article talking about how LeBron is a celebrity, small scale for now, but probably not much longer. He just finished his sophomore season, and yet he might just be the best high school basketball player in America, and his path to the NBA was set in stone. By the time his junior year ended, LeBron was named Ohio Mr. Basketball twice. The following year, in 2003, LeBron became one of the last NBA players to be drafted straight from high school when he was picked up by Cleveland as the first overall pick in the draft.
With the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
Completing his journey from undesirable to undeniable, and enabling him to give his son, Bronny James, everything that he never had. Born on October 6, 2004, Bronny never had to live in small, cramped apartments like his father. Instead, he lived in a $36.8 million mansion in Beverly Hills, California, with his brother Bryce and sister Zuri. Basketball was also a constant in his life from the moment he opened his eyes, and he took it almost immediately, hitting half-court shots right before his 10th birthday on the Cavaliers practice court with just one hand. By age 10, his youth basketball games were already being covered by national news channels. On top of that, LeBron did everything to make sure his son's skills were harnessed to a maximum level. He first enrolled him in Crossroads School, a private K-12 school in Santa Monica, California, where Bronny ended up scoring 27 in just his first game. For high school, LeBron transferred him to Sierra Canyon School in Chatsworth, Los Angeles, hoping that their elite athletic programs, along with their top-tier coaching and training facilities, could mold Bronny into a more rounded player. And that's exactly what happened. In Sierra Canyon, under coach Andre Chevalier's guidance, Bronny went on to win his first MVP on December 14, 2019, after his team won against his father's alma mater, St. Vincent St. Mary High School, by 59-56. For the next 3 years, however, multiple injuries would keep him sidelined for several games, and even though he'd always make an impact whenever he returned, Sierra Canyon still ended up being relegated. But despite all that, Bronny was still considered a top prospect among NBA scouts and some of the top basketball colleges in the country. Eventually, he chose the Southern California Trojans as his college team, and after a brief health scare caused by a cardiac arrest on July 24, 2023, Bronny made his official debut for the team on December 10th.
This season, 4 months after suffering cardiac arrest, Bronny James makes his collegiate debut.
From there, it was a straight shot to the NBA, with the Lakers picking him up as the 55th overall pick next year in the 2024 draft.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James from the University of Southern California.
Now, for the most part, Bronny's run with the Lakers has been hit or miss, but considering the genes he was born with, his potential is still sky high.